They're so tiny. I guess I locked it. See if that sets the alarm off. Nope. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and I had a grand plan today to go rescue my Miata from Corsa Motors. I bought new tires for it, which surprisingly were cheap, even though the rims are stupid. That stupid rims mean small tires, and small tires mean they're cheap. It was just under $100 for the pair. And then I got there and I saw the car. Talk about a work in progress. So I immediately lost all interest in doing anything having to do with the Miata. And I thought back on why I have this stupid thing. And it reminded me of when I was driving down a local highway the other day and I saw a pretty nice looking blue Miata. And you could tell there was definitely work done to it and it was well done. And I was like, wow, I wonder if that guy knew for the money he put into that car, he could have gotten a better car. And that's when I realized that Miatas are pretty stupid. It's not the best platform. It doesn't go incredibly fast. It's just something that you can drive 10/10ths, and virtually anyone can drive 10/10ths. And it's hard to do that in most other sports cars. You have to be a very well-trained driver to drive a real sports car 10/10ths. A Miata, anyone can do it. You're flat out 90% of the time, and that's sort of the appeal to a lot of people because it makes them feel like better drivers. But you take a guy who could drive a Miata and stick him in a fast car, there's a good chance he's going to kill himself. If you give him a car that's going to break the ass end loose, if you give it 100% throttle coming out of a turn, he's not going to know what to do with it. So I guess it's a good training vehicle, but it's just not one of those cars. Being able to exceed the abilities of the car isn't really impressive. That's akin to somebody saying, I like taking third grade tests because I ace them every time. And a car is supposed to be a challenge to drive a sports car. It's something that should scare you and should test your abilities and keep you in check, not like I'm gonna push this damn thing to its limits. And that's not to say you can't lose control of a Miata, but you really have to be a bonehead to do so. It's not really a car that isn't ultimately super forgiving and super easy to drive. And the appeal to them seems to be that they're reliable, but a lot of cars are reliable. You've got Corvettes are reliable, Vipers, Porsches, they're all good race cars and they're reliable. Having a Miata because it's cheap and reliable, I sort of understand. But when you start putting money into it and pretending like it's a decent or solid platform to have a race car, that's where I sort of say whoa, buddy, your money could be better spent elsewhere. And I take issue with calling the Miata an actual sports car. Having driven all these other cars that are out there, the Miata is not, it's just not there. It doesn't do it for me. It's a good car that you're happy to let your kid or your first foray in your early 20s into the sports car category, because you're not going to get yourself into a lot of trouble with it, and it's not going to cost you a ton to maintain. But ultimately, in the world of sports cars, it's not one. You want to be scared when you're in a sports car. You don't want to be able to outdrive the car. You want to have that element of if you screw up and don't drive it well, it's going to bite you. And that's an important part about sports cars. And that's sort of what the appeal is. And that's why more manufacturers don't go the way of less horsepower, perfect weight balance, easy to drive, reliable cars. They put these options out there that allow people to be like, whoa, that got a little sketchy there. You say, oh, I broke the ass end loose in third gear. That's pretty wild. That's why the transition over the years has always been to, or the direction of the industry has always been to add more horsepower, go lighter weight, more efficient materials, more downforce, and make the cars just sort of enjoyable and fun to drive. And I'm not saying a Miata isn't, it's just not a sports car. It's sort of a slop around, let anyone drive it, nobody's gonna get in trouble with the damn thing car. And don't get me wrong, I've got a well-balanced slow car. I'm driving it right now. It's an Acura NSX. And I do see the appeal to it, but this one at least has a exotic look to it. It's got the look, it's got the reliability, and it's sort of well balanced, but really it's a slow car. It doesn't have that torque or that platform where you can do big horsepower on it. All you can do is add enough horsepower with like a Comtech supercharger or something to make it more of what it was supposed to be. Put it to the horsepower level where it's actually sort of fun. But now you're borderline like hurting the resale value, worrying about the reliability of it at that point in time. And that's not really what you sign up for when you're buying an NSX. You can go get other cars for less money. And I thought about supercharging the NSX. It's just 10 grand. And I'm like, you know what, for 10 grand, it's not worth it. I'll just enjoy it the way it is. And I'm better off going that route. And that's sort of where I'm at. But that doesn't distract from the fact that the Miata, similar to the NSX is a little bit more of a sports car because it's got a higher top speed, although it takes a freaking million years to get to that top speed. It is a little bit better of a track car and a sports car than a Miata. But for everybody that's going to disagree, I mean, this is probably going to be a video that everyone's going to either be like, I agree 100%, I know what you're talking about. I see the people driving around in Miatas and they got to know it's not a sports car. But then there's going to be the people that starkly disagree. And let me just start off by saying, all of you guys who have already commented because you disagree, you're better drivers than I am. Congratulations. I'm not going to argue with you because if that's the only claim to fame of the Miata owner is that you're at harmony with your 97 horsepower car, then God bless you, you win. I'm not going to argue that. And I'm just saying, the same way you are, virtually every other person with a license can be too. And that's the problem with the car. It just doesn't have, it's not a good platform to build up on to make real horsepower or make a real sports car. And it's also not enough of a sports car from factory to really get my mojo going. So let me know your thoughts. I'm sure this is going to be a stark divide. Hopefully more people are with me. I'll actually throw a poll right now because why not? If you agree with me and a Miata is not a real sports car, it's a good sports car for teenagers but not for adults, let me know. If you disagree and you think that I'm just missing the mark, let me know in the poll in the comments and we'll take it from there. Thank you for watching. If you guys want to buy a Stance Miata when it's got new tires on it pretty soon, I'm happy to sell it. I think I'm done with that. Actually, I know I'm done with that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Catch you next time.